start. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Very good evening, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are. So, my name is S. Meyya Manikam. I'm from Malaysia, based in Sharlam. So, என் ஊர் வந்து வராச்சல, and welcome to Ping in Panic Series 41. So, this session actually, or this program started relatively 5 years ago, okay, the year 2020, during COVID. So what happened was, when all of us were in the lockdown situation, so I started to share my knowledge on public speaking. So அது 3 வாரம் போச்சு. Then people started suggesting, why don't you bring in more Nagartas onto the stage, virtual stage, and around the world, and let's them share, whatever skills they have, or whatever that they have achieved, and you bring them forward. So I thought, okay, அது நல்ல ஐடியாவா இருக்கு. So let's start with that. So that's why I started inviting people. Not only from Malaysia or Singapore, it's also from London, from US, from Australia, and of course from India itself. Okay, so we had a lot of speakers, right from youngsters up to the age of 15 until the age of 80. All right, so we had different people, different demography, people from education, arts, sports, corporate people, okay, leaders and trainers and stuff. So நிறைய விதவிதமான ஸ்பீக்கர்ஸ், lot of achievers and stuff. So அது ஒரு 3 வருஷம் போயிட்டு இருந்துச்சு. Then I took a break. Then people started asking me back, why did you stop? Can you just start continuing again? So I thought, okay, let me just come back. So that's why this year, January, I started again. And yeah, it's going on well. On monthly basis, I'm having one session at least. All right, so that's where we started this segment. And before we go on to the speaker, just to let you know, this session is being recorded. So the Mudichona I will upload to the YouTube probably tomorrow, day after. All right, so you can also share with your friends and stuff. All right. So, and apart from that, while the session is going on, this session will be around 45 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, so while the session is going on, you may switch on your camera, that is fine, but please mute your mic. Okay, when there's a Q&A session, okay, later we'll have the Q&A session, so you can post your question into the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and ask your question to the speaker. All right, so today is a unique topic. Okay, when I joined the working world 20 years ago, it was 2005. So things were a lot of traditional way, paperwork and stuff. அது அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா, technology base and stuff. So in the COVID காலத்துல வந்து I joined another MNC, multinational corporation, and I started talking about this word agile. எனக்கு வந்து கொஞ்சம் quite new to this term. Of course, we will get that speaker to explain more about this. But that's where I realized this thing has started growing. Okay, yeah, especially in the multinational companies. So I thought, okay, let us bring this to our Nagartar community, especially this jargon word or a buzzword. All right, and good enough, I managed to get a speaker who knows about this topic. All right, that's a unique thing. And today, the speaker, S. Theivarayan Prakash, he's my, of course, childhood friend. We have known for decades, right? And we also are from the same campus, all right? Of course, he's my 2 years senior, and we are from different faculty, all right? And he's a senior manager of Western Digital Malaysia. And apart from that, over 18 years of experience on tech and storage solution industry. And of course, he has grown from a firmware engineer leading to a regional team of 11 developers across Kuala Lumpur and Thailand. All right. And as I said, he's a computer science graduate from University of Malaya, and his journey of technology began in the late 80s. All right. The first time I touched computer was in the year 1993, right? 1992. Obviously, he was ahead of me. Okay. And he's a strong advocate of continuous learning, mentoring, and brings wealth of insight and experience. Okay, and obviously he's a badminton player, but don't worry, we are not going to talk about badminton today. It's more on agile and the topic itself. Okay, the agile way. So நிறைய பேருக்கு it will be new, so that's why we're going to have the speaker today. So Theivarayan Prakash, welcome on board the program.
Thank you, Meyya. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். As Meyya said, my name is Theivarayan Prakash Somasundram. சொந்த ஊர் அரமணசிறுவேல். நகர கோயில்னு பார்த்தா நேமம் கோயில். I'm from நேமம் கோயில். And I think other introduction, I think Meyya already explained clearly. I've been in Western Digital for about 18 and a half years now. And in Western Digital, we adopted Agile back in 2017. And ever since then, now we're in 2025. We are still practicing Agile, but with a lot of tweaks actually, something that fits to our company and the people in the people and the culture. So we are not wholly following scaled agile framework, but we have adaptation over time. Uh, but that's what agile is about. It's about evolving, right? But I think, Meyya, before we continue, I also want to thank you for inviting me to be part of this series. It's an honor to be amongst all the distinguished speakers, and also congratulations to you. I think
Thanks.
41 series number 41 is no easy feat. You have to be very resilient and committed to actually do this every month. And congratulations to you, and keep going. I think it's a wonderful platform for youngsters and everybody in the community to show what they are doing and share with people. And you never know, after this session, uh, there may be other opportunities for me and for other people, right? So I think, yeah, keep going. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. So let's just dive straight away into the topic. So what do you mean by agile? The buzzword agile.
Okay. Yeah. If you go to exactly what's the meaning of agile, agile means uh, fast, quick, and easy, right? Something simple, right? That is what is the actual English meaning of agile. So if you look at the uh, for computer science graduates or software graduates, there will be something about SDLC, software development life cycle. So in software development life cycle, conventionally it was um, the waterfall model. I think a lot of them in industry conventionally they use this waterfall model where you have requirements gathering, and then you have designing, and then you do the implementation of code, and then comes testing, integration testing, deployment and maintenance, and so on. So there's um, there's a lot of cons in this model that sort of triggered the introduction of agile, right? Uh, it's more of a project management, software development approach, uh, and why people now want to go into agile is more because it saves time. Because as I was saying, the con of the waterfall model, uh, in the waterfall model, once you're going through this process, you just say you're in the implementation stage now, you're writing code, and suddenly there's a change in the customer request. We want this feature done differently. Then people sometimes, they it's difficult to actually plug in and play and continue from there. You need to go back again and get requirements, uh, design again, and then go into coding again. So it's it's time consuming, and in today's world, I think time is money, uh, and we need to be quick. So agile kind of comes in the right way based on customer feedback. You actually break your whole feature or your whole product. You break it into multiple chunks, and you deliver value by sprint. And each time when you deliver, if at all there's a customer feedback, they want to do something differently, they can go ahead and make changes to it, and then continue delivering. So it saves a lot of time actually, agile. So that is kind of the introduction of what agile is.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Prakash. So, yeah. So, நிறைய பேருக்கு அந்த waterfall method என்னன்னு தெரியாது. ஸோ என்னன்னா, if you are focusing on the traditional method, இப்போ வந்து உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பேமெண்ட் அப்ரூவ் ஆகணும்னா நீங்க வந்து உங்க பாஸ் போய் பார்க்கணும். ஸோ உங்க பாஸ் வந்து அப்ரூவ் பண்ணா அவங்களோட பாஸ் போய் பார்க்கணும். அப்புறம் வந்து கொஞ்சம் அமௌண்ட் பெருசா இருந்துச்சுன்னா அவங்களோட பாஸ் போய் பார்க்கணும். லெட்ஸ் சே ஒன் ஆஃப் த பாஸஸ் மிஸ்ஸிங், அந்த பேமெண்ட் வந்து டிலே ஆயிரும். ஸோ அதான் பிரகாஷ் சொன்ன மாதிரி தட்ஸ் வாட்டர் ஃபால்ஸ் அண்ட் த திங் கெட்ஸ் டிலே. ஸோ இப்போ உள்ள கஸ்டமர்ஸ் ஆர் த ஒர்க் என்வாயர்மெண்ட் வந்து பீப்புள் வாண்ட் திங்ஸ் ஃபாஸ்ட். Okay, so அங்க வந்து அந்த ஸ்டக்கோ இல்ல ரோட் பிளாக் இருக்கக்கூடாது. So that's the main thing here. So that's what Prakash said. It's fast, it's evolving, and let's say suddenly a customer wants improvement. நம்ம வந்து திருப்பி starting point வந்து வர வேணாம். You can just continuously doing it from the point where you are. So that's the meaning of agile methodology or agility, I would say. All right. So Prakash, like what you said, got to know about this in 2017. I got to know only in 2020, right? And why is it becoming more popular nowadays? Why is it so needed?
Yeah, I think because this is kind of a proven model now. Many, as you mentioned earlier, many multinational companies, they've adopted agile. They're moving away from waterfall. Uh, but of course, any model, you look at any model, there's pros and cons. Lah. But what we need to do is, that is why agile is very flexible. You you don't have to follow it. You do not follow it as if it's like a textbook. You can take the good out of it and adapt accordingly to your company needs. So so it actually it delivers it delivers value faster. It you are able to adapt to customer needs. You can foster collaboration between your team members. Previously, we look at waterfall model, people work in silos, but with agile, there's a lot of emphasis on teamwork and collaboration. And on a whole, it improves the product quality through continuous feedback. So that is the selling point of agile.
Okay, yeah, I agree on that. Like what Prakash said, a lot of companies they work on silo. HR and finance they don't work together. They feel HR is HR, we handle only payroll, and finance is finance, we only handle money. But they didn't realize salary is actually money. Okay, so they need to work together. And sometimes, for a finance department, for me to get a salary, I need the product to be sold. So upon the sales department must work. And for the sales department to work, the marketing must go. So you see, that's how the collaboration works. So
Yes.
like what Prakash said, you can't work in silo. And again, நம்ம வந்து startingல இருந்து வர வேணாம். You don't need to start from the beginning. You continuously improve from where you are, right? And obviously deliver value. So definitely when customer is happy, it delivers value, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So nowadays, no wonder it's becoming popular, especially on MNCs, and so it's like ongoing kind of thing. It doesn't stop at one point.
Right.
Okay, so Prakash, another thing is, being an accountant, I need to do my certification, like ACCA, CP Australia stuff. For this agile methodology or this agile way, is there any certification available?
Yes, there are many certification courses available. I myself, I'm a certified Scrum Master. I'm a certified product owner and product manager. Also a certified release train engineer and a certified safe program consultant. So I can join companies and help them transform from waterfall to adopting safe, right? So when we first adopted safe in Western Digital back in 2017, we had uh, we call them ACAs, agile change agents. So these guys are all safe program consultants. So they come in, they help transform the company, they give advice, they provide training, and the different sort of certification. Back to your question, they have you can get, there's multiple providers though. I just realized that when I was googling today, my certifications are all from Scaled Agile, because Western Digital being an enterprise company, we have we use the safe framework. There are multiple frameworks in Agile. Safe is one of them, Scaled Agile framework. So uh, my certification is all from Scaled Agile, and there are other providers of the certifications also. But if you talk about basics or starting point, usually people go for certified Scrum Master.
Okay.
After that, next step would be product owner or product manager, and then release train engineer or advanced Scrum Master. So depending on your interest or your role, Um, so those are the certifications that you need. Of course, if you are a developer in a company, you don't need the certifications. You don't need to, if in a team you have three basic roles, three main roles. Those are product owner, PO, we call them as PO. Then there's the Scrum Master, SM, and the rest of the team members will be developers. So for developers, you don't have to get a you don't have to go and get a certificate to become a developer. As long as you have knowledge of how to write C or Python code, that's good enough. And you, of course, you need to know what is safe about, or what is agile about. But that knowledge is very basic. You don't need a certificate for that.
Okay. So which means the top qualification would be the agile coach, I would say.
Correct,
The
correct.
highest.
Yes, if you're a safe program consultant, you are licensed to provide training for people. But the license, you need to keep renewing them. My license, it expired some time ago. I have not renewed it. But you have to pay money if you want to renew them, and you need to pay Scale to Agile, and it's not cheap also.
Mhm. Okay, okay. Wow, from the conversation, I can get to know you have at least 4 certification on hand now. So,
Yes, yes.
wow, that's great, fantastic. And yeah, so Prakash சொன்னது மாதிரி, so you have, the certified product owner, certified scrum master, so you have different level of certification. And of course, the top level is that agile coach itself. And either you can go to other companies to train them. Like what Prakash said, you can transform, be the change agent and stuff. அந்த தமிழ் ஒரு வார்த்தை இருக்கு, மாற்றம் ஒன்றே மாறாததுன்னு. So as long you keep changing, keep evolving. So that's what he meant. Right.
Right.
So, Prakash, since you mentioned about the word IT, software development, does this agile methodology only applies to IT related area?
Initially before this session, Meyya, I thought it was applicable for IT only. Then I did a bit of homework before coming into this call. It's also knowledge for me, and apparently, it is not applicable to IT only. A lot of other industries, including education, I think banking. I think there was a list that I saw just now. Get that list. Yeah, manufacturing, finance, healthcare, construction, all these industries, agile can be applicable. But of course, it has to be it can be what is that word? It can be adjusted, or it can be tweaked to their need for that industry. So, as I said, in Western Digital also, we've gone over these years. A lot of tweaking has happened. So I think those other industries also, they don't need to follow the requirements or the guidelines by heart. They can also take whatever is applicable for the industry.
Mhm. True, true. இதை ஏன் கேட்டேன்னா, because when I got to know about this agile methodology 5 years ago, I was in the shared service handling month-end closings, account book closing, and stuff. So we closed the books of the local finance of various countries. So then they introduced this agile methodology where I work with different people, not in silo, of course. And let's say something happens to me, the task will still go on.
Correct.
So as long the objective is met, so we will get in other people, or whenever there's feedback from the local finance, we tend to improve it, or change
Correct.
the method and stuff. So like what you said, we also apply on even our month-end closing, accounting, bookkeeping and stuff. So
Right.
Adam Prakash Namari, actually he covered all the industries: healthcare, education, finance, banking, everything. So yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not purely on IT or computer science per se.
Yeah. I think your example is very apt. That's where the Scrum team comes into the picture. So a Scrum team, as I mentioned earlier, usually comprises of a product owner, the Scrum master, and also developers. If any developer goes on leave, or goes on vacation, which is usually already planned during, we have something called PI planning, program increment planning, which happens every 3 months. Again, company and company, they differ. Some companies do it every 6 months, some companies do it every 3 months. So investigation review every 3 months. So usually during that planning, we plan ahead of our vacation days. and we plan the capacity that this team can deliver. And if any one person has an emergency that comes up, the team member is responsible, anyone in the team is responsible to pick up wherever he left from and continue and deliver within that sprint. A sprint could be 2 weeks. Some companies do 3 weeks, but in WD we do it. One fortnight is a sprint, and 6 sprints comprises of one PI. PI stands for program increment, and every PI we actually plan for what features we want to deliver for which product, and we need to meet that. Once we commit, we need to work towards meeting that commitment. So that, in a nutshell, a bit more what Agile is about.
Okay. So there's more like a timeline, and we know what's the goal to achieve
Yep.
in every timeline and stuff. Yeah, that's fantastic. And one thing is the information we get it continuously. If a traditional meeting, now let's say we have a management meeting, if a mother first Monday of the month, the next one will be the next month, the first Monday. அது வரைக்கும் என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு ஒண்ணுமே தெரியாது. We don't know what's happening. But this agile methodology, after the meeting, we get continuous informations, what's going on. So when come to the next meeting, or like what you say, the sprint, right? We make the quick decision there and then. We don't discuss anymore because we got to know what's happening.
Correct. Yeah. I think there are a lot of other ceremonies. We call them ceremonies instead of meetings. We have something in a Scrum team. We have something called daily stand-up, DSU for short. Every day, 15 minutes, team members will have to update everyone in the team what they did, what they plan to do, whether they have any impediment, they need help. So if they need help, of course, they need to bring it up, and then other team members, if they can, they help. If not, they reach out to other people, other teams to help, to get help, right? So every day there's something called daily stand-up. At the end of every sprint, we have sprint review, and then we have also retrospective. If say what we should have done better at the during the sprint, how can we improve? If we missed to deliver one particular story, uh, they will do a post-mortem during the retrospective. And once done, we have something called sprint planning. We also plan, okay, what should we do for this sprint? So these are the ceremonies, basic ceremonies that happens during a sprint. And after 6 sprints, we have something called EI planning. At that time, you plan for the next 6 sprints. So this is a cycle after a cycle, and towards delivering the product. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So the way you say everyone need to speak up, collaborate, work together. It's not like you just wait for the instruction from the top people, just say, and then you just do. It's not like that. It's everyone has to speak up. And
Yeah.
collaborate.
Another key thing here is empowerment, right? The Agile is actually a mindset change in everybody in the company. They empower people to do the right thing. Initially, when we started this transformation of our company, they showed us a lot of videos. You know, the people manager, or he may not know, he's not the subject matter expert in whatever any feature that anyone is working on. So they want to empower the developers to tell them how much can be done, to tell them what is the right thing to do. If there's a roadblock, who to talk to, what to do. So they empower the developers to do the right thing. In the waterfall model, was more of top-down approach. The people manager tells them, I want this feature done in 2 days. I want this feature done in 1 day. But in Agile, people manager has got no say. It is the developer, and the Scrum Master's role is to actually protect the developer from the outside from outside influence. We don't want influence from the people manager to say that, hey, this one should be done faster, this one can be done faster. So in other words, there is a lot more work-life balance. But I think I'll talk a bit more about the cons of this. There's also cons of having this in a company, but we'll need to manage that as well.
True. That's right. So Agree with that. I think one of our members also commented that Agile is a project management software development approach,
Correct.
emphasis on iterative development, collaboration, and adaptability. Okay, so it's not a rigid methodology, but rather a mindset and set of principles to be
Correct.
guided. Okay, that's great.
Correct.
So moving on, whenever you start something new or first time, there's always a challenge. So now coming to this, what are the common pitfalls, when you adapting the agile for the first time?
Yeah, I can talk with experience from Western Digital. A lot of resistance with something new, but I think what the people in the company fail to understand that change is constant. I think you mentioned that earlier also. Change is constant. So a lot of the developers, the managers, all of them were very resistant to this change. Why do we have to change? Everything is working fine. Why do we have to adopt this new thing, right? So it took some time. Of course, companies spent a lot of money sending everyone for training, bringing in the agile coach, getting everyone certified. But over time, there's been acceptance. Uh, of course, people who were not comfortable, who were not willing to accept, they left. Some of them moved departments. Instead of doing firmware, they started because in Western Digital, only in firmware development we are practicing agile. Other departments they have yet to maybe not so much applicable to them, and they've yet to adopt to agile. So some of them there's a lot of resistance, and also I think the other thing is lack of clarity. Uh, People started having boundaries among them, around them, right? Oh, I'm the scrum master. This is my role. Why are you doing my role? Why are you stepping on my foot, right? If people manager starts to get involved, no, you're not supposed to say anything. So there's a lot of this lack of clarity. That's where the company used the coach a lot, right? The coach came in and said, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. Try to mediate things among the people. So those were some of the common pitfalls. I think also expectations were also high. Okay, maybe by doing this we can achieve a lot more. That was actually purely from the executive leadership. They were expecting a lot more, but of course, they didn't realize that because of engineers or developers deciding how much they can commit to, and nobody could influence that. So uh, delivery started. I think they started slacking on delivery,
Okay.
and so management had to kind of agree to that because I think pressuring the engineers too much would also backfire. So I think those were some of the common pitfalls that we faced while adopting to SAFe. But having said that, now it's been 8 years, 9 years since we are practicing SAFe. We've evolved so much ever since then, and things change. And of course, we are improving from time to time.
All right. That's great. And like what do you say? Definitely, people who are not in that mindset, definitely they will retire or give up and they'll move out. So
Yep.
that's one. Like me, I find it interesting, so I followed through, and definitely I benefited because personally, for a month-end close, and they usually anjana edukum post month-end, but in my company previously, we finished it within 3 days. Okay,
Right.
sometimes even 2 days, because we knew what to do and there were constant communication. Like what you say, there's a sprint. I mean, the stand-up meeting in the morning, and end of the day, we just update what's happened and stuff. So things, constant communication, collaboration, people voicing out and all that. So that's good.
Yep.
Okay, so coming to that again, when you say people giving up, people are moving out and stuff. So how agile can actually improve and on collaboration and also accountability in the team, say.
Yeah. Collaboration is the key of this agile framework. Uh, as I mentioned, we have Scrum teams, and in Scrum team, we promote a lot of collaboration. We meet every day at least for 15 minutes. We meet for 15 minutes, and every sprint we meet for planning. We meet for review. We meet for retrospective. And during PI planning, we also meet for. There used to be face-to-face meeting. Before COVID, there used to be face-to-face meeting for all teams. We used to fly. We used to travel just because, as per SAFE, face-to-face meeting for program increment planning is very, very critical. We want everybody to be under one roof, and so that not only developers but also the marketing team, also the sales team. So they come in and tell us, okay, these are the requirements from the customers. We need to this is the MVP, minimum viable product that we need to deliver to the customer. Can we make this commit? Can we do this? Then there's a lot of face-to-face discussion, which is much faster. But of course, after COVID, during COVID, especially during COVID, we all shifted to using Teams, and that also worked out. And ever since then, in the name of cutting costs, we've been doing online planning also. So so collaboration is the key, and I think yeah. What was the other thing?
On the accountability in the team.
Accountability, yes. Accountability is also commitment. As I mentioned, at the sprint planning, the team will have to commit. We will deliver this many story points at the end of this sprint. These story points are defined by the developers. Nobody influenced them. So if they commit to deliver 20 story points in that sprint, expectation is for them to deliver 20 story points, because they've got no pressure. And they make the decision themselves. So this is where the accountability comes in. So team members are also accountable. Uh, as I mentioned, if anyone goes on emergency leave, the member has to pick it up
Yep.
and deliver as a team, because it reflects on the team. If they fail to deliver, it reflects on the team. And of course, then later there'll be retrospective and things like that. Yeah.
True, that's right. And my experience during MCU, especially when like yourself, Microsoft team, myself was more on Google Meet. So I get a chance to collaborate with people from different region, different country, different region and stuff.
Mm,
So when you have sprints and all that, it was great that the resources were available. And again, the Google Doc, traditionally, our documents we'll email to our manager. The
correct.
manager will email to the director, email போய்கிட்டே இருக்கும். And again, it will come back. So time again, it's time consuming. But this through Google Doc and Google Sheet and stuff, we shared the document
Right.
so we can update on real time.
Right.
So again, the time gets shortened and we get things done faster.
Yeah, it's more efficient.
Yeah,
A lot of transparency. As I
true.
mentioned, a lot of transparency, right from executive leadership to marketing to sales to manufacturing to the developers. There's a lot of transparency throughout the company, and this also helps. Uh, if you compare to waterfall, usually you don't have much interaction with people from other departments. But
Right.
on the contrary, agile is very much uh, powerful in that sense.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are having some interesting conversation on Agile Way or Agile Methodology. So for audience, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can always put it on the chat box if you have any clarification or any questions, or even opinion on this topic itself. Right. So I think while we are waiting for the question, just another question. When you say Agile Methodology, இது வந்து புதுசு, so definitely involves investment. From
Correct.
finance or accounting background, it's always money, right? So is it very expensive or costly?
Okay, I'll be honest. I don't know exactly how much the company spent to transform from waterfall to now agile, but I think it would depend on the company size, right? Uh, I mean, if it was my company, it's a small company, not necessary. You don't have to go. You don't have to adopt. As I mentioned, there's many different frameworks in agile. One of the simple framework is Scrum. You can just adopt Scrum, and a lot of this information is available on the net. right? You don't need to get people certified. You can actually, to minimize costs, right? To minimize costs, you can actually um, maybe hire a coach and get them to train them. With certification, you need to pay money to the provider. If in this sense, you only pay the coach to transform. Uh, uh, if 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 that is also an issue, if the company can't afford that too, then I think take it step by step, right? Uh, get the basic Scrum framework, and then do necessary reading, or one guy gets certified, and then that guy cascades the information to the rest of the people in the company, right?
Okay.
But for big companies, of course, there are there's also ROI in investing in on training and all this certification. Big companies can afford it, so I think we are reaping that right now. We don't have an agile coach in the company anymore. We have internal trainings. I've provided a couple of trainings within the company as well. So uh, so again, it depends on the company on how much they are willing to invest, and they can do some research and find out what are the cost of this, what is the cost of that, and then decide. But I can tell you, in Western Digital, we spent quite a bit of money to transform. Uh, uh, we sent people for training, external training. Right? In fact, I got my POPM and SPC training in Bangalore. uh, I was there for 4 or 5 days each time for the certification, and I have to come back and I have to actually sit for an exam, and the exam is provided by it's an objective online paper that you need to sit for, and it's not easy. The textbook that they provide is this thick. I still have them, and the answers are all ambiguous. So you have to have very clear understanding of what each ceremony is about, what each role is about, what are the pros, what are the cons, to be able to actually get through the exam.
All right, all right. Okay, that's great. So, of course, investment, it comes in different ways, and like your case, it was used more efficiently because the company invested on you, and they expect you to train the people,
Correct.
or share the knowledge. So that's one way. It's a win-win situation, I would say.
Right.
Right, that's great. So, I think there's a question from our audience here. What tools have you found most helpful in managing agile workflow, and why?
Okay. There are many tools available outside there. I can share what we use in Western Digital. I think most companies that adopt Agile use these. Jira is one of them. Why I mentioned Jira is because Jira, they've got all the necessary fields like sprint. They've got these burn up charts, velocity charts, the feature point charts, story point charts. All these are available in Jira itself. You don't need to struggle to come up with those reports. So it's kind of very helpful for if you have Jira. A lot of things are very clear and easy for the team to manage. And it's faster, of course, faster to adopt Agile if you have all these tools in place. I think the other tool that we are using is also Slack. Slack is more of a chatting tool, and similar. I mean, you can also chat in Teams, but Slack is very much more um, smaller and smaller in terms of size of the software, and it's very light. It's very light, I should say, and the messaging tool, you can share code blocks, you can share um, files, you can share documents, and since we are a worldwide company, so Slack has been very useful for us. And the other thing that we also use is Confluence. Confluence is a place where you have all these documents available. People can go into Confluence and search any document or any uh, any term they're not familiar with, you just go into Conference and put it in a search field. It will return all the pages related to that, and you can get a lot of uh, knowledge from there, in regards to the term that you're not familiar with. So Conference is another tool that we are using. And during planning, we use something called IOBEA. IOBEA is where we put sticky notes. Of course, when we had face-to-face planning, we were putting physical sticky notes. But now, since it's online planning, we use IOBEA boards to put sticky notes on what are the features we're going to deliver in this sprint, what are the features we're going to deliver in sprint 6 or sprint 5. uh, and that provides visibility to the executive leadership. Okay, this product can be delivered at this time. So definitely these tools is a necessity for you to adopt agile workflow. Again, here again, cost comes in. Licensing is always licensing is always required for all these tools. You don't get them free. But then again, if you don't have them, it's difficult to run.
True, true. So yeah, there's a lot of tools here that's been shared: Slack, Jira, Confluence, Ayubaya. Okay,
Yep.
that's great. And of course, இப்போ இந்த traditional methodனா you use the whiteboard and or the mahjong paper, I would say. And the thing is, அது ரொம்ப நாளைக்கு இருக்காது. It's gone.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
and when someone else is using the meeting room, they will erase everything and that's gone. But in the Confluence or this kind of Jira, it will be there.
Correct.
Okay, and of course it's a software tool, and it's an app, so of course you don't use the paper anymore, so that's fantastic. Okay,
Correct.
so audience, if you have any other questions or anything to share, feel free to do that. And my other question is, what are the roles does leadership play in fostering this agile culture?
Yeah. Leadership plays a very, very pivotal role in teams fostering this agile culture. Um, they First of all, they need to be willing to. They themselves need to attend the training first. They need to attend training and be accept, and they need to accept this agile is a change of mindset. They need to be in the right mindset first, that okay, agile is a good thing for my company, right? And once they have that, and of course then next comes, okay, I'm willing to spend time and money for this, right? And this adoption is definitely going to make a big change to my company. Let's go ahead with it. So leadership they need to get in first. They need to buy in first. So that is number one. And of course, number two, um, they the if at all there are any conflicts, right, they need to quickly get the right people inside to resolve or mediate the conflicts. So it's very important for leadership to do that, and they need to be present. They need to be present during the ceremonies, especially during the um, PI planning ceremonies. PI planning is what we have every 3 months. So they need to be present, and they need to show that they are a believer in this agile methodology. So I think it starts from leadership, and of course the other part is uh, them willing to provide the training and coach and all that facilities for the team.
Okay, okay, that's great. So they need to wear multiple hats. They need to believe in the system,
Correct.
and they need to practice the system, and they also need to coach and train people.
Yep.
That's one of it. All right, that's great. Okay, I think there's another question here. What are the benefits of Agile for a layman on management task, something like Excel, Word, etc.?
Layman
This maybe
management
on the
task.
non-IT.
I I think for layman it you mean for an individual, right? For an
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
individual,
or of a manager, or a higher management.
uh, what I think what is the thing that they can take away from agile is constant communication with the team, right? if you talk about a team. But if you're talking about individual itself, I think again it's about mindset of getting things done. Because in agile, what we um, what we preach is we commit for 5 story points, we deliver 5 story points. So for an individual, each morning you plan your morning, right? I'm talking a layman's term, right? Every morning when you get up, you plan your day, what goals you want to achieve for the rest of the day. I'm going to do. You have a list, right? You have a backlog of lists, just like how we have in a backlog of stories to pick. You have a list of backlog of what you want to do in today or in this week. So you commit to it. Once you commit to it, you make sure you deliver it. So I think that's where uh, agile concepts can be used. And of course, if you fail to do it, then you retrospect on yourself.
Mhm.
What happened? Why didn't I complete the task? Why did I procrastinate? Uh, Once you do the retrospective yourself, then you know how to do better the next day. Just like how teams retrospect at the end of the sprint, then they do better in the following sprint. So I think that mindset applies to all individuals. Uh, yeah, the say do must be there. You say this, you just do it. So that is an agile concept.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so there's another question here. Is there an advanced version of project management in Microsoft Office?
Advanced version of project management in Microsoft Office. I know they have something called Microsoft Project, but I don't know if that is still widely used nowadays. Um,
Yes,
so
yes, Prakash. I'm talking about the Microsoft project. Those days, I remember when we have any project, we normally use that where you have got your timeline, Gantt chart,
Gantt chart.
sources and everything. Sources required, the timeline, and then we also link it up to meetings and when they finish and who didn't finish, and so everybody will be able to see. So I was thinking, is this agile much enhanced version of that project
But
software?
I would say so because it gives you a bird's eye view of what are the list of features that are in the backlog, what is currently planned, when will it be delivered. So it is an enhanced or advanced version of Microsoft Project. But of course, once you adopt uh, Agile, we have Jira to handle this for us. So we don't need Microsoft Project. So we moved away from Microsoft Project, and I believe a lot of companies who have adopted Agile, they don't use Microsoft Project anymore.
Okay.
Is trial versions available, or is there free versions? Do we need to buy these for trying out and things like that?
For Jira,
I mean, this agile itself.
no, agile is okay. Jira is more of is more of a tool for to help your agile workflow, but agile itself is just a concept, and agile information is available on the net. You don't have to be certified to know what agile is about to learn agile. There's a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of material on the web that teaches you what agile concept is about. Uh, Certification or purchasing of tools is only required if you want to scale it for your business. But if you just want to learn what the agile concept is, it's free. It's all available on the net and available on YouTube.
Thank you, thank you. It's very new for me. I'm
Yeah,
just getting to know. So you are talking about another software. So that one, is it a must? Just now you said
Jira. Jira is a
Jira, Jira.
yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah,
if you want to adopt agile and practice the whole framework, and you have multiple teams, then Jira, I would recommend investing in Jira. I don't know how much the cost would be, but I think that I can find out and I can update you offline. But to pick up the concept itself, the materials and information is free.
All right. Yeah, that's the
Okay,
thing.
thanks.
So,
Thanks.
okay, that's
Okay,
good.
thank you for the question.
I think, yeah, there's another comment here. Microsoft Project is purely used for planning and scheduling nowadays. We can use Oracle Primavera or Safran for project planning.
Mm,
All right,
okay.
that's great. Okay, so I've also shared the Jira's link on the chat box. Okay, so any other questions from the audience? I think it was very useful since the beginning because for a layman person, he get to know what is mean by agile, and on the technical side, people get to know what are the softwares and how is it used and the practical way and stuff, especially on the mindset. Okay,
I think I can add on a few things. Uh, some of the issues or some of the what some of the developers do after we adopted Agile. Remember, I mentioned something about Sedu, or you commit this many stories, you need to deliver this many stories. So at one point, some people, some developers or some teams, just on the pretext of achieving 100% Sedu ratio, they start sandbagging their stories. So meaning sandbagging, meaning a story can be done within a story can be we have this something you need to every feature can be broken down into multiple stories, and each story we need to estimate the story point, as in how long does it take for one man hour to how many man hours does it take to deliver that particular story. So people start sandbagging. They said instead, actually, it can be done in a day, but the guy comes back and says, "Oh, I need 2.5 days to complete this." Right? So the velocity of the team decreases, uh, and of course, say-do ratio is 100%, but velocity is not at accepted rate or at the rate that we want to deliver the product. So this is where I think product owner and scrum master needs to come in, and during the daily stand up, they really need to question the developers. What did you do? Where are you at? What's the impediment? How can we help you? Right. So they play a very important role, and of course, in 10 developers, there will be one or two slackers, and team members will need, again, is team collaboration here. Team members will have to voice out, and during retrospective, we'll have to tell them, look, you're slacking, right? What's wrong? Do you have a problem? We, of course, we don't want to go there, and we don't want to go in and tell you are slacking, but there are different ways to handle the issue, right? How can we help you? Do you have any personal issues, right? So that conversation all needs to happen once the scrum master realizes that something is going wrong, right? So but Asian culture, this is a problem with Asian culture. They tend to they don't tend to um, go ahead and they don't want to have these difficult conversations. That is wrong. I think the scrum masters, they need to do their job, go in there, have the difficult conversation, and get him to come up to speed, motivate the guy, encourage the guy. So I think that's how we can turn all these bad apples into good apples.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, they should need to be influencers or a coach, rather than just be a dictator, I would say.
Correct.
Right. So I think there's another question. I think this is more on the other side of the topic. In terms of leadership, how do you see yourself in 5 years?
Myself in 5 years, okay. I'll share my experience, right? I had some resistance against Agile too when we first started off, because I was a people manager before that. Of course, I started off as a developer, then I moved on to a people manager. Then I used to determine, or I used to, that was how the waterfall model worked, by the way. So I used to determine people, okay, the ask is we need to get this done in a week. So please go ahead, do it in a week. If you need help, let me know. Right. So that was the waterfall model. And as we moved into Agile, the role of people manager started diminishing. we don't need people manager. If you go into the safe, if you go into agile, people manager's role has been up. It has been down to only giving them allotting them bonus, approving their leaves, and sort of like that,
Correct.
right? So nowadays, I don't think it's only in Western Digital. I think a lot of other companies, people managers are required to be technical also. So I don't only do play the people manager role. I'm also a developer, and that is why I mentioned about continuous learning. I think it's also a way of life. I do uh, code. I also do unit testing. I do Python programming. So I think to stay on top of the technology, even a people leader in IT, you need to be well versed with all this. At least once you have all this knowledge, you are able to resonate with all your team members, right? I have 11 people reporting to me. For me to be able to understand their uh, uh, their issues or what problems they're facing, I need to know what they actually do. It's only then. I started this for the last 1 year. I started doing technical work again, and in 5 years' time, of course, uh, I hope. But usually, I think in a lot of companies, you don't simply climb the ladder. It's always opportunity, right? If the senior guy resigns, then there's a role there. There is a position there that needs to be filled, and then they look for somebody who is capable, and then they put you in that role. Uh, so I think continue doing whatever I'm doing, and hopefully another 5 years, next level is director, senior director, and of course I wish to stay on with Western Digital given the distance from my home, which is a stone throw away. So that has been a big pull factor for me. So in 5 years' time, I still hope to stay on with Western Digital and contribute to the business.
Okay, that's great. Good to know that. I think we'll take one last question before we wrap up. What motivated you or your company to look for Agile, and what were you using instead of Agile before?
I think back in 2017, of course, a lot of US companies they started. Western Digital is a US based company, and Agile came off the US and executive leadership, right? Uh, they were convinced, somewhat convinced, or it was more of course, it was the trend at the time. Agile was the trend at the time itself. Uh, I wouldn't say we were the early adopters. So because it was a trend, executive leadership picked it up, and they believed, and I think so far it has been a success. Um, there's um, um, there's a lot of collaboration work with multiple teams, uh, and it is paid off. The company, I believe, it is paid off well. Not to say that before Agile, when we were doing the waterfall model, we were not doing well. Um, but in comparison, I think the developers they get a better work-life balance, I would say, because they get to determine what they can commit and what they can need to deliver. It's not someone else telling them you need to do this, we need it by this time, and so on. So I think main thing is we adopted Agile because of the trend, and also executive leaders bought in the idea, and before that we were using the waterfall model.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, change has to start somewhere,
Yep.
and it starts from the top end of the day and how they influence. And when the way you explain, it's like a win-win situation. It's good for customer, and you say it's a work-life balance for the employees and the team.
Yep.
And end of the day, a company gets the benefit from both sides.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so yeah, it's almost 1 hour. நேரம் முடிஞ்சது தெரியல. So
Ama.
it was a lot of good conversations we had on Agile topic. Of course, Agile is ஒரு கடல் மாதிரி, but we just went to the surface.
Correct.
Okay, so and it's good to know that we have someone in our Nagartar community to have someone to speak on that. That's great. Okay, so thank you very much, Prakash, for sharing all the knowledge input, all that. So hopefully maybe we can have a part 2 or part 3, in future, a deeper version on the topic, maybe in future.
Sure,
All
sure.
right.
Thank you, Meyya. Thank you for inviting. Thank you for conducting this picnic with panic series. I also want to wish you well and all the best in all your following series, and also to the audience, if any one of you all got any further questions on agile, or if you want to pursue a career in being a scrum master or something like that, give me a call or send me a message on WhatsApp. um, I think most of people who don't have my number, I think you can get my number through Meyya. I'll be more than willing to help out and guide.
True. All right, then thank you very much, Prakash, and thank you everyone for attending the session today. So it was definitely a fantastic session for we had today, and the next series will be Picnic Panic Series 42. We'll also have another interesting speaker, which will be in August. So do wait for the announcement. I'll prepare some posters and send it out. All right. So if you have any other suggestions, any other speakers for me to reach out, so do suggest to me, and I will reach out to them, or any interesting topics. Okay, so definitely, because we want to make it more variety in the sense of speakers and topics itself. All right. So with
Yeah.
that, thank you everyone. Have a good weekend. All right. Have a great
Thank you.
day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.